Welcome to the Love Lab Podcast, a safe place to get real about sex. Whether you're a man, woman, single, or couple, this is the show for you. Because, well, sex matters. We are your hosts, Kevin Anthony and Celine Remy. All right, welcome back to the podcast. This is episode 3, and today's topic is, what do men really want in bed?
This is going to be a juicy one. Last week we looked at what do women really want in bed. So we figured it would be a good subject to look at the other side.
We didn't want to leave anyone hanging, right? So you know what women want, and now we're going to learn what do men really want in bed. And one of the things I love about doing this podcast together is that we can share both points of view, right? Because last week it was really, what do you want? And then today is, what do I want?
And again, the list is not exhaustive. There's probably going to be way more than what we're going to cover, but I think it's going to be a good place to start with.
Of course. It's only a 30-minute show. We could go on and on and on. All right. Should we dive in?
I think we should.
So what is these aren't in any particular order, by the way, but what is the first thing that we want to talk about today? So this is a really big one for guys. And basically, it's guys really want women to be enjoying the lovemaking. And what's funny about that is I think sometimes women just have this idea in their minds, and so then you can maybe expand on this, that, oh, the man just wants to get off. He just wants to do his thing, and that's that. But the reality is we actually really want you to be enjoying it. Because if you're enjoying it, you're probably going to want to do it again with us.
This is probably the number one thing that men say they want to do. They want her satisfaction. They're always looking for, is there a button I can push? Is there something I can do? And they always put her satisfaction, or maybe I shouldn't say always, but most of the time when I speak with my clients, they put her satisfaction before his own. And that always struck me because, like Kevin is saying, often we really think that men are selfish, but I really don't think so. I think men love for the woman to be in her pleasure. They want her to really be into it. And that's another really important piece. That she's not just getting into it from a place of okay, I'm doing you a favor, or I'm just getting into this for you, but I'm really not into it. Nobody likes pity sex. It doesn't feel good.
This is a big misconception. When it comes to guys, there's this idea out there in the world that anytime, anywhere, anyhow, as long as I have a wet hole, I'm good to go. And the reality is that's not true. Now, for younger men, that might be a little bit more true. When we're younger, the hormones raging through our bodies as young men are so overwhelming that we just need to do something with all of that energy. And so, yeah, we're more likely maybe to have sex in a situation where she's not all that into it, or it's just not good for whatever reason. But as we mature and as we age, that really changes, and it changes massively. So for me, if the woman I'm making love to isn't into it, if she's not yeah, this is where I want to be, what I want to be doing, I honestly lose all interest. And I'm like, you know what? I could go read. I could go work on a project in the garage. I could go play guitar. There's a million other things I could be doing. If you're not into it, then let's just call it off and get back together when you are.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that's important, to really find a way to stay really present in the moment and find the joy and the pleasure, because there is something that we women have, something called diffuse awareness, which makes it really good for us to multitask, to focus on several things at once. But sometimes it's kind of against us, especially during the lovemaking. And often for guys, you're more of a single focused. And so that's easier for you, well, I'm making love right now and here I am and I'm all in. And sometimes for us, it's a little bit difficult. And we don't always do it on purpose, that we're hey, I'm not so much into it. Maybe we want to have sex, but we have an overwhelmingly long list of to-do things. And by the way, the to-do list never ends. So it's a really good thing to know and understand, because it always piles up. Stress is always there. And even though we might want to have sex, we could be thinking about something that we need to do later, or which in turns could look like we're not so much into it, but that would be an illusion. So maybe at sometimes too, as a guy, that what could be good would be to just help her be in her body, just by telling her what you like about her body or helping her feel the sensation, so that don't just give up in the very first thing where you're like, oh, she's not into it, so I'm just going to throw the towel. It's like, okay, she's not quite into it. Let me see if I can help her be right here and right now with me, because I want her to like it.
And so that sounds like the perfect place to bring in the idea of foreplay. But what's really interesting is foreplay isn't just about, oh, I'm going to go straight to her pussy and give her oral sex or finger her or grab her breasts. Those could potentially be things. But if she's not really into it in that moment, there are lots of other ways to have foreplay. It's exactly like Celine just said. Tell her how beautiful she is. Tell her how much she turns you on. Maybe tease her a little bit with some of the things you'd like to do to her body.
And remember that foreplay doesn't start just when the door of the bedroom gets closed. I mean, foreplay is the whole length of time in between the lovemaking. It's a really good reminder. So in terms of just like, bringing that energy. But I want to bring it back to really, we are here about what men really want. And I know that it is puzzling for many men. Several of my clients don't understand the shift that happens in their body when they get older. There is a desire and a want for more touch, more emotional connection. That yes, before the idea of like, all I need is a hole was okay, but then there comes a time where you're like, I really want to have that emotional connection with somebody, that intimacy. And I know for some men it could be confusing. We're like, wow, I'm changing, what's happening? But just understand that these things are normal.
Of course. And the more mature we become as men, the more we crave that connection. And if that connection isn't there, honestly, the physical part, it's not that interesting. And I don't mean to say that sex isn't fun or sex isn't interesting or anything like that, but it's missing something when that connection's not there. There's a real piece that's almost palpable that it just isn't there when the connection and the energy isn't flowing between the two people. And so, as a guy, I can remember being young and thinking, oh, I need to do something. I have this huge erection and I've got all this energy flowing through me and I just have to have sex. And as an older man, that's really funny to hear myself say that, but, but as a slightly older man, a little bit older man, I don't know. It really is different for me, where if I don't have that connection, it's just not that much fun. I mean, I could go masturbate and take care of it quickly and be done with it if all I wanted was a little physical sensation. What I really want is connection, emotional connection, touch, intimacy, and the physical all together.
Mm-hmm. So having eye contact, having like holding gaze, breathing together, sharing sounds of pleasure. I mean, another thing that men want is to hear her sounds of pleasure. There's something so primal about a woman's orgasmic sounds, and don't fake it, women. It's like, don't fake it because you think that's what he wants. But if you feel so inclined that something needs to come out and open your mouth and make sounds, don't hold it back, because it is extremely sexy for a guy to hear you in your moans of pleasure.
Okay, I just have to jump in here for one quick second. Everything you said, absolutely 100%. And women, don't fake orgasm. Don't do it. I don't care how tempted you are. Don't do it. It's the worst thing that you can do. I know you think you're helping his ego. You're helping him think that he's doing a good job and you want him to try hard, but you're actually encouraging bad behavior.
Yeah, because you're not giving him good information. Because when you fake it, he's thinking he's doing a good job. And so he doesn't feel a need to do something different or change. And so, if you're wanting, like Kevin was saying, to like not bruise his ego, I mean, having a conversation is essential. Not having the conversation while you are having sex, because that's definitely a castrating thing, but like something when you are cuddling on the couch or something like that, and mentioning that there's times when you're not always as satisfied or whatever that is, because men can take it. They want real feedback. They want honesty. They want that communication piece, because one thing that men do and is that they love to make us happy. They would do anything for us. They want to fix things. They want to do better. They want to be better. They want to be a great lover. And so give them the opportunity to improve if that's something that is necessary.
And that really is true. We do want to do things for you. And for those of you who are maybe listening and thinking, well, my man's not like that. Or if you're a guy, you're thinking, well, I mean, I do to an extent. The key to that really is appreciation. Because if we feel appreciated as men, we want to keep doing more. Mm-hmm. If we get great feedback about how much she appreciates whatever gesture, whatever behavior, whatever physical trick, tool, backflip, whatever it was, then that inspires us to do more.
Plus, I know that usually when we tell you, I really loved when you did blah, 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 not just, oh, it was great. I liked it, but being very specific. I really loved when you flipped your tongue up and down when you were on my clit, and like, wow, okay, or that moment when you grabbed me a certain way and turned me over, or that thing which you did with your finger, or what you said, like being so specific. And what I know is that men would be like, okay, put this down on the list. It's in a mental file for going back to it. My bag of tricks that I know will please her.
That's right. My tool bag.
Your tool bag.
Which may or may not have actual tools in it. But we went off on a little bit of a different direction for a moment because of the idea came up about not faking orgasms and positive feedback. But I want to get back to something that we were talking about just before that, because there's one other part that I really want to bring in. And that is the connection piece. And the part of the connection that I'm referring to in this moment is being able to see each other. So like as a guy, I want to see her, I want to feel her, I want to smell her. Like I want all of that sensory stuff, right? Stimulation. I mean, when we're making love, quite often I'm over there going, oh yeah. She smells good.
Well, actually, that's a sign when you're attracted to your partner, the pheromones and all of that is like, hey, we're compatible. If you don't like the way your partner smells, most likely there's things that are in the way. Of course, it could be like something they ate or whatever. But if it's as a general thing, then my guess on that is that there's probably something deeper there than just that needs to be dealt with on the surface and brought to the surface. Yeah,
for sure. And I know that there are many women out there who have body image issues. And I know that for them, having the lights really low or maybe off completely or completely covered under the covers is maybe something that they would kind of prefer.
But men are never as harsh on us than we are on ourselves. So this is the thing to remember. You love us. You love our bodies, the curves. You love the expression of it. And so if we are hiding ourselves, we are not giving you that gift. So for most men, a lot of men identify with being visual. I really don't think that it's a gender thing here. I think some people are visual, some people are auditory. I mean, everybody has different things that turn them on. But if your man is one of those men who likes a visual, you better give it to him so he has a full experience.
And it's really a big part of establishing that connection. If it's completely dark in the room and I can't even see the person that I'm having sex with, who am I having sex with? Mm-hmm. Is it a blow-up doll? Is it a real person? I don't know. I can't even see it, right? So the idea is I'm not saying you have to have like spotlights on the bed or flashing green, whatever. The idea is just connection, right? So connecting with our eyes, connecting with our hands and our touch, connecting with our breath, breathing together, all of those things that establish connection.
A lot of men too will want her to initiate at times too. As much as you like as a guy to go for it and make it, it's a responsibility to always have to be the one who needs to do the work. And so having her initiated, having her also keeping the energy alive, whether by sending a sexy text or a photo that suggests something with a little bit of I don't know, lingerie or sexy shot of the body part. But just keeping that energy alive and doing the initiative, he also wants you to want it and to desire him. He wants to be desired. He wants to be wanted.
For sure. And of course, we would love for our women to initiate. We don't want to always have to be the ones to initiate. And at the same time, guys, I'm like, here's the secret right here. You're the dude. So if you have a relationship where you're the primary masculine role and she's the primary feminine role in the relationship, and there's that polarity there, it is going to be your job to initiate more often than not. And so you just need to get used to that right now, quit complaining, and just do it.
Chase her.
Chase her.
Yeah, it's fun. It's part of the game.
Sometimes literally. Chase you around the house.
And okay, there's a big one here that I want to bring as what do men really want in bed.
Oh, I'm glad you're the one bringing this up.
Okay, the cock worship. Yeah, he wants his cock to be acknowledged. He wants his cock to be worshipped. And that's not just in bed, but that's throughout the day, throughout his life, from cock grabbing to spontaneous acts of like sex or blowjobs or hand jobs, or just appreciating the manhood, what he's got between his legs. Every man wants that.
Especially in today's climate, there's a lot of negativity around men and their penises. And there really shouldn't be, but there is. Now, I know there have been some bad examples, men who behaved inappropriately that have caused some of these problems, and that's not a topic that we want to get into here. But aside from the bad apples, not all men should have to sort of suffer from the I'm ashamed of my cock because I have a cock, right? Mm-hmm. And it's really amazingly liberating when my partner really like praises and loves my cock, and like when I get a boner, she's happy about it and she welcomes it and salutes it and is like, this is amazing. I'm so glad that you're healthy and you're vital and that you're turned on by me.
Boner alert.
Yeah, that's what she says around the house all the time.
Something that's very damaging is as a woman, when you roll your eyes, like again, you're turned on, or like there's that shaming that happens. And we'll make a whole show on that entire subject. So we're not going to go that deep into it, but it is damaging. A lot of men do link their worth, their ego with their penises. And if you're constantly talking down about that body part or not appreciating it or celebrating it, it's definitely having a toll on his self-esteem, on his manhood.
We're men, and we like to be appreciated for being men. And that means everything. That means appreciating us for fixing the car when it breaks, or taking out the trash, or having an erection. We just want to be appreciated for who we are. And the reality is, as men, especially if we're healthy, there's no avoiding erections. Like, it's not like you have a choice necessarily. It's not a situation where you get to choose, well, I think I'll have one right now, and now's not appropriate. Sometimes they just happen.
If you relax there, boom, it happens. It's just the body's reaction. So.
And if you're a guy listening to this and you're thinking, well, that doesn't really just happen for me. In fact, I really got to work at it, and sometimes it doesn't happen at all. We've created an amazing program designed to help men with erection difficulty. So it's called Power Up Your Erections. And it can really help you get your body back on track so that it functions the way it should. But assuming that it does function the way that it should, then you're going to have erections spontaneously throughout the day. Sometimes you'll think about something that'll turn you on, and other times you're just like,
it's the breeze.
Yeah. Okay, cool. No matter why it comes up, the point is we like to be appreciated and not made to feel like we did something wrong.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that is something that men want in bed is regularity or frequency. If making love is a very important part of the relationship, it needs to be nurtured. It needs to be still as a big part of being in a relationship, because otherwise you're just being friends. So if you are being in a romantic relationship, having sex regularly is essential. What happens when a man doesn't know when he's going to get sex next? All he can do is he thinks about it all the time. He thinks about it at work. He thinks about it in the bathroom. He thinks about it during dinner. He thinks about it all the time. And he's kind of having a mild low-grade anxiety of when am I going to have sex? And if that need is not being met, then that could also show up with premature ejaculation, just because he's like, oh my God, like when is that happening? That anxiety and that tension in the body can create early ejaculation. And so if you give him an outlet and a chance that he knows it's on the calendar, I really always recommend to my clients to have a sex date. We have a sex date. Our Tuesday night is our sex date, and it is sacred. It is written into the calendar. If for any weird reason something has to be shifted, we don't just delete it. We reschedule it in the same week so that we have that time together. And so when he knows that sex is coming, that his needs are going to be met, he can finally relax into it and not have that needy feel or needy want that comes from not knowing when he's going to get some.
The other way that sometimes manifests, so of course there is the part that you're talking about, which is he's thinking about it all the time. When is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? And he's creating this anxiety around it. Sure, that can manifest through difficulties having an erection, premature ejaculation, porn addiction. These are all things that can come from that. But the opposite can sometimes be true too, where the man basically just says, it doesn't ever happen, so forget it. Like, I put that part of myself away.
Mm-hmm. And then you don't use it, so you kind of lose it, and it makes it harder to even get back into it.
And you lose a little bit of your manhood. Mm-hmm. Because your sexuality for a man, just like sexuality for a woman, is a big part of who they are.
Well, we are sexual beings.
Of course we are. And so if we put that aside and we just don't be a sexual being anymore, we actually lose a little bit of who we are. Now, I understand that there are some people that simply just aren't sexual. And, there's exceptions to everything, right? So anytime we're talking about how men are or how women are, we know that, we're talking in generalities. So there are people where they're just not sexual. But for the average man, he is a sexual being, and it can be dangerous in both directions, on either side of the spectrum.
When you are feeling sexually satisfied, and it has ripple effects, your confidence increases, how you show up at work with your colleagues, like it just is different. You can't fake that type of confidence. And there is something really different from a man who is getting laid, having good sex, knowing he's getting it. Like he's not as afraid. He's willing to be bold, to take risk. He's willing to show up. And there's a passion to him that shows up in every aspect. Because once we shut it off into one area, unfortunately, it starts to also start to contaminate all the other areas, and suddenly there's no more passion.
What's the word we use for that?
Oh, I don't know. You're going to have to help me.
Confidence.
Oh, the confidence, yeah.
There's a confidence that you take with you throughout the rest of your day and the rest of your life.
That's true. So own it.
But use it appropriately.
Always with discernment, kindness, love, and a little bit of passion.
Yeah.
Which leads to what men really want too, is also spontaneity. So as much as it's awesome to know that you're having a sex date, spontaneity is amazing.
And spontaneity for me isn't just about, hey, we didn't schedule sex, but let's have sex right now. I mean, that's spontaneous for sure by definition. But the part that I really like about spontaneity is, hey, we're sitting out in the backyard and it's the end of the day and the sun is about to set and it's a beautiful moment and we're here enjoying each other. Let's make love. Or sometimes it's, I just want to bend you over the kitchen island or something like that. The idea is it doesn't always have to be the same setting in the bedroom with the lights a certain way and the blinds a certain way and this, that, and everything perfect.
The body
and,
angles at a certain angle.
Right. Same position. It's just, anywhere, anytime.
Yeah. A quickie can be just as satisfying as a long lovemaking session. It doesn't always have to last forever, but it could be nice to just have that spontaneity.
By the way, we define quickie as 30 minutes.
Yeah, but that's not for everybody.
Yet.
Yes, but we will share with you how you can get there. Last piece, I think, really that I want to make sure that every woman listening today is understanding that men really want. They want you to ask for what you want. And that's a really, really important piece. A lot of women think about, well, he should know what I want, even if I don't even know myself what I want. And that's kind of crazy. It's a little bit of insane. Men are not Jedi mind readers, and it's crazy to expect them to do that. And if you can give them clues and ask for things, clear, concise, direct communication, asking for what you want, they will love it. Like I said earlier, they will just be more than willing to deliver, to make you happy. And there's also something so sexy about a woman who is asking for what she wants. It's hot, it has confidence, and it's very appealing for a guy.
Yes, we are not mind readers. We don't pretend to be mind readers. We actually love to get instructions.
Give us a manual, right?
Where's the manual? Hey, I didn't get a manual with this model.
So don't be afraid. And there's a big difference to hear women that asking for what you want and being bossy. Do this, do that, not like this, not like that. Nobody likes to hear that.
That is a huge turnoff. If you want the fastest way to watch an erect penis go down, be a bossy bitch.
Mm-hmm. But inspire him. Things like, oh, this feels good. Oh, I like it. How about you move a little bit to the left? Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's it.
Yeah, and say things like, I really like it this way.
Mm-hmm.
I really love it when we do it like that.
Yeah, don't focus on the complaining. Well, you never do this, you don't do that. That's never going to get you what you want.
You could say, what I really want in this moment is.
Yeah.
Or what would super turn me on in this moment would be if you. Mm-hmm. There's so many different ways that you can phrase it where you can ask for what you want in a positive way that inspires us to give you exactly what it is that you want. And trust me, from a guy's point of view, that is so much better than trying one thing and having her go, ow, don't do that again, or trying something and, okay, there was no reaction. Her lip didn't curl, the eyes didn't move, nothing changed. Okay, let me try something else. All right. Well, that semi worked. I got a little giggle out of it, but she's not really going yet. That's to some extent what we do as men is we try things and we look for the feedback and then we try to keep doing the things that women are really liking. But it's so much easier on us if you just give us a little guidance, done compassionately and in a positive way.
Mm-hmm. Above all, you want to be successful. You want to be her hero in bed. You want to be a sex god. You want to be the best, and you want her to want you. All right, everybody. This is it for today. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more.
We hope you liked this episode of the Love Lab podcast. If you enjoyed this show, leave a comment and share it with your friends.
And if you want more, we have an entire digital library with the best sex tips and relationship advice at CelineRemy.com. That's CelineRemy.com. So join us in the Sex Vault to continue this adventure.
Thanks for listening.
And remember, you're amazing.